Antifa has hijacked the left. They've become the militant political violence, the arm of them, essentially.
Millie Weaver reporting for Infowars.com. We're here in Washington, D.C. on the 4th of July. Now, just days ago, Antifa violently attacked some conservatives in Portland, Oregon. Let's go see what some of these Trump supporters think about the violence from the left and what we should do about it. Have you guys heard about what happened in Portland, Oregon with the rioters, the Antifa that beat up a journalist and some other people? What do you think about Antifa and this escalation on the left of violence?
Well, Antifa is a terrorist organization, and they need to be labeled as one, and they need to be shut down and put out of commission because they're like the brown shirts. They need to be out of our country.
You know, when you take innocent citizens getting hit upside the head, you know, with items, and then caustic chemicals being thrown on them, you know, it's just not okay. Everyone should be able to say what they want to say, and that should be okay.
The violence is ridiculous. Yeah. Like, it's just disgusting. Like, it makes you, I don't know. The way I just look at people, I'm just like, seriously? Like, they say they're all about, like, not creating any conflict, but they always are creating conflict.
The violence, these people are supposed to be pacifists somewhat, or, you know, but they're very, aggressive, going after conservatives.
The reporter wasn't the only one that was abused and beaten up. There were many other people with severe injuries, and it's just unacceptable. We're supposed to be a civil society, and that's not acting civil. So the hate was just incredible.
The biggest thing is that anytime they attack a mainstream conservative person or a white person, it's never in the news. But the fact that Antifa has gone and now they've attacked a gay Asian, so essentially a victim group, a minority, a person of color, it just shows you it's that what's going on, how crazy it's gotten.
These violence just because of a political opinion, that is childish.
I do think they're akin to a terrorist organization.
The way they act and the way they portray and the way they fight for what they fight for just doesn't make any sense for me.
Obviously, they're like outrageous. Something should be done to like stop any like forward advances that they're making, because why haven't we put a stop to them yet? Like, obviously they're on home soil and we allow them to keep interfering with multiple things. It's just not right.
They're misguided. I mean, if it's a free country, but it doesn't need to go to violence.
They're looking to get arrested. They're looking for attention.
But they don't get arrested. That's the problem, is they get away with it.
And, you know, all they're doing is hurting people that are exercising their rights to their opinions, you know, or to their privileges, to their constitutional rights. I mean, they have a constitutional right to protest. We have a constitutional right to gather, to protest, to do whatever. I mean, this is America.
I mean, we got to find a way of stopping that, putting an end to it.
They can't get away with violence and abusing people and have the freedom to do it, and the leaders of that state need to be charged for not keeping safe the public there.
What do you think? I mean, some people on the right, they're getting really mad seeing these fights happen in Antifa beating people that are innocent in the streets, and they're wanting to go back and meet them head on in the streets. Do you think that's the right way to go about it?
I don't see violence for violence. I think we need to keep the rule of law, and we need to do it lawfully and arrest these people that are committing violence. I don't want to be beat up. I don't want to take on people that way. It's not the right way to do it.
We can conquer through peace. This is a country that we're intelligent. We're not animals to go in and fight and knock each other's heads together. We can do this responsibly.
I think we need to unite and just not condone it and don't bleed into it. Just be the bigger person.
We can stand in front of them without being violent and partaking in the violence. But I think that citizens need to step up. If anyone is assaulted or being attacked by anyone, politics involved or not, someone needs to step up. It's actually against the law for people to stand around and videotape it and not do anything. And I just think, again, it's just disgusting.
We need to keep accountable these Democrats that have been elected into office, keep accountable what they're doing, what they're saying. And this can be an ethics issue in Congress or even in the city government, municipal government. That can be an ethics issue. So make sure that we actually take the right precaution.
I think it takes a unified effort to understand what we're really up against. This is not something we're used to in the 21st century, in any century really. We're not dealing with people with faces. We're dealing with people that hide behind curtains, online, in real life even. They hold their faces. I mean, they wear masks, scarves, everything. They're unidentifiable, so I'm not sure, truthfully.
I think it's best we just ignore them. I mean, that's what my teachers always tell me, to just ignore them and they'll hopefully just go away.
I think just all the conservatives kind of standing together and just being unified. You know, if you have a big group of people, you know, they're not going to try and mess with you. So I think, you know, having a big group and just being peaceful and just, you know, having acceptance and unity in like the whole, you know, sort of like conservative, like the conservative group, you know, it really helps with, you know, like going against that.
I grew up with the saying that if they hit you, you hit back. So if they actually go out and attack you, you should be able to defend yourselves. But you shouldn't go outright and headhunt for them, because one, that's so low, and you should always take that high road when it comes to that. So don't go headhunting, but when they start to bully you, you should be able to push back and defend for yourself. And that's the real reason. That's the key of, you know, staying alive.
Yeah, there's a clear difference between seeking out some Antifa members than Antifa members coming after you and you fighting back.
I think we've been behaving very well, and I think we should continue behaving well. We're not being the violent ones, and I'm really proud of us.
Do you think that we should just be pressing our officials to make sure the police do their job and protect the peace?
Oh, yeah. Yes. The problem is the police's hands are tied so many times.
Yeah.
You know, unleash the dogs. You know, they're so...
They get stand-down orders from these Democrat city officials and mayors, and then they have to sit there and watch as bad things happen. So what can we do? What's the best thing for us to do to change the situation?
That's a good question.
I think it's a complex issue. I mean, I think our leadership needs to do more, but I mean, I appreciate that President Trump is being a little more outspoken about what's going on. I think it really does need to be addressed at the top. I think trying to take them on the streets like what's happening is a losing situation, as you've seen in Portland. I think it's getting more and more dangerous as well, especially when you don't have the police supporting you and you're out there. I mean, we're here for freedom and liberty and for human rights, and we're not seeing that manifested in what's happening out there in other places of our country, and I think it's shameful. I think our leadership should be very ashamed of what's going on, and I think they need to be stepping in and being more vocal about it.
I honestly think voting is the best way, because it's the only way, to be honest, in our governmental system. I think that's the only way to do anything about it.
I think that people need to act a little bit stronger about it, and instead of being told to back down, they shouldn't be allowed to mask themselves. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with it, and it should be pretty strong consequences.
I think it would be important for like an unmasking, you know, letting these people go around masked and attacking people and assaulting people in a crowd. You know, it's all you see in these videos is people full balaclavas or, you know, masked and everything going on, and you can't identify who's attacking other people or who's vandalizing property, you know, anything of the sort.
Why should they get away with being masked? Being masked considers a criminal. In the Old West, when you put a mask on and robbed a train, you were considered a criminal, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
You hide your identity, you were a criminal, weren't you? So why can't they be arrested and then exposed, their identities exposed, and then put in jail?
Regardless of any group, any person that comes in with masks and is violent like that needs to be shut down.
By law enforcement. So what do we do when we have law enforcement standing down because we have Democrat mayors giving stand-down orders?
When policemen break the law, there is no law. So when they stand down and they don't uphold the law, there is no law.
So should we investigate these Democrat mayors and people that are giving stand-down orders and remove them?
Absolutely. Yep. They should be removed from office, perhaps even locked up.
And to hold the public officials accountable for what their job is. When a police chief does not police his city, such as in Portland, he should be held accountable. That mayor that did that, he should be held accountable. These people are not in charge. One guy is not in charge of going against the populace of the community. They were elected by the public. They have a responsibility to keep our safety. That's their job.
I think the city council, the mayor, the police chief, all should be held accountable. I think a civil lawsuit should be filed.
We need to know the truth, number one. We can't be deceived by the mainstream media that's lying to everybody and pointing us in different directions. So we need to do our own research and find out legal ways of what can we do to stop this insanity.
There's a limit to what we can do, but I think it's more of the overall spirit and people's enthusiasm, and I think we just need more national pride. Enough fake media. We need people that are speaking the truth.
The young people need to learn about the history of communists in the world. Okay, because sometimes the communists look like a very nice, very good for people, but this is a liar. This is a great liar. Okay, because the communism take your freedom, take your life.
So people need to learn their history is what they need to do. They need to look back at revolutions in the 60s in this country with some of the Weather Underground, Bernardine Dohrn, Bill Ayers. You have to look and see and follow the money trail, follow you got to look it up, and you've got to learn it for yourself that these people still are lingering around. These people went from the Weather Underground, and now they've worked their way up into places in colleges. They worked in places in state legislators making laws. And so once we can figure those things out as a people and spread information like what you see at Infowars and start to inform the public, well, then we can start to figure out what's going on and how to handle it.
Hey, what happens if you try to order your favorite Infowars Life product only to find out they're sold out? Yeah, I know it kind of sucks, but there is a solution. All you gotta do is go to InfoWarsStore.com and click on Auto Ship. Bam! Problem solved just like that. And now you're scheduled for regular delivery. That means no more back orders, and you'll never run out of your favorite Infowars Life products again. Pretty cool. But guess what? It gets better. When you sign up for Auto Ship at InfoWarsStore.com, you get an additional 10% off that product. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. So what are you waiting for? Support the Infowar. Order and click on Auto Ship at InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.